Do I did it. Talking about the boy from New York City. Do I. Hey, everybody. Woo! Out of town, Charlie Brown. We're going up to Boogie's. We're going to Boogie Woogie's wrestling camp. Folks, Shawsville, Virginia. Straight out of North Carolina. Hitting the street, strutting my stuff. Woo! Do I did it. Talk about cat from New York City. He's so fine. Do I did it. Talking about the boy from New York City. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, out of town for Charlie Brown. Woo! We all the way up here in Floyd County, working our way to Boogie Woogie's wrestling camp in Shawsville. Whew, I had to stop. I think the tree. I'm from the cypress and the magnolias and the swamps and the rolling hills. We done rolled up in here. Woo! Kevin Sullivan, Taskmaster, Wrestling Boogie Camp. Today, I'm on my way. Do I did it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, folks, boys and girls. Hey, out of town, Charlie Brown. Coming to you from Buffalo by you, Buffalo by me, Buffalo Ridge, Virginia. I'd like to thank all the good people for taking care of out of town, Charlie Brown. We wind on and dined them. And hey, woo! I've had that slaw burger and a bottle of whiskey to wash it on down. Takes me on back to my memories of my baby and me. Oh, Boogie Woogie Camp, we on our way. Sweet Stan Lee, oh, you better watch out. Woo! Let me tell you, when I start shaking, you can enjoy coming for you. Hurt franchise is coming into town. Shane Douglas, woo, woo! What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Woo! Do I talk about the
He's having fun.
Do I did it. Hey, everybody. Oh, Holy Moses. Holy night. That's right. It's Christmas time coming to you. Charlie Brown from out of town. He's out of sight every night. We here at the Boogie Woogie camp in Shawsville, Virginia, folks. I finally made it. My dogs is tired. My dogs is tired. Oh, folks, let me tell you. Oh, we're going to come on up and we're going to do the walk. This is the walk of fame. Oh, Lordy, ladies and gentlemen, when you come up and do the... Oh! Whoo! Sweet baby Jesus. Say your prayers and eat your vitamins. It looks like that's the most ripped baby Jesus I've ever seen. That's Hulk Hogan. Woo! Boogie Woogie tour continues, folks. The moonshine, schlitch and giggles, and oh, by the way, we whining and dining tonight. Out of sight. Come on, follow me, folks. You can't even begin to know how happy I am to be on the hallowed grounds of the Boogie Woogie camp. Ladies and gentlemen, the first stop in our Boogie Woogie tour, the Hall of Fame Museum. Good afternoon, everybody. Four Corner Photography President, CEO, oftentimes janitor. We're here this evening at the very, very, very esteemed grounds of Boogie Woogie's wrestling camp. Handsome man, the handsome one, Boogie Woogie, out of town Charlie Brown, but never actually substantiated, quite possibly related, twice divorced by prison. We're at the museum, folks. This has been an honor. We've been hanging and banging with the man all weekend long. The media moguls, CEO, Body Slam Media Productions, Koby, Rutland, and myself. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. And I wish you could just really be here in person. This is head to toe, folks. This goes from the floor to the ceilings. If there was any place else to put more of this stuff, you'd have to lift up the edge of this building and be able to look under, because it should be there. It's a variable list of who's who. It's a cornucopia of wrestling legends. I'm awestruck, a little short for words, a little teary-eyed. I'm just overwhelmed. We're going to try to give you a little bit of a walkthrough as best we can. There's multiple buildings on this compound we have to cover, folks. So let's get with it. Koby, follow me. Folks, you know, you're going to see good people like the Rock and Roll Express, Dick the Bruiser, Baron Von Rosh. Here's the Valiants themselves, Miss Angel and Boogie. Also, you're going to see Dallas Page, Vern Gagne. I'm seeing names here that I'm really appreciative that I got to meet my own self back in the day. Referee Brian Mark Curtis. Everybody loves him. Everybody. Mark Hildebrand. Everybody loves him. Dr. Bill Miller. My grandpa back in the day really appreciated this man, as well as Johnny Weaver. I mean, old Terry Funk. Looking at Scott Powell. Oh my God. King Curtis IK, folks. This man drank a gallon of wine and smoked 2 to 3 doobies a day and bladed every night. I mean, what else better way to live life? Waikiki on the beach, feet in the sand, toes in the water, every night in the ring, giving the fans 110%. Folks, all the way down, Juan Hernandez, Nick Bockwinkel. I'm seeing the Iron Sheik, Stone Cold Steve Austin, world class, cheered by some of the top guys in this business that have passed away. The Rock, Superstar Bill Dundee. Oh Lord, we've done run into that man so many times. Just the amount of people. There's no way to cover all this, folks, without being in a full, extensive tour of this facility. Oh, we getting stuff in here. Hulk Hogan, Ivan Koloff, Jack Briscoe, NWA champions, AWA champions. We're seeing WCW champions. We're seeing WWE legends champion. I mean, this is just outrageous. We're so much history to absorb. You're getting Mick Foley, folks. Don Fargo, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Ron Simmons. Oh, Jesus. Coming on down, Killer Carl Cox. I've touched on that name 2 to 3 times this weekend talking to youngins in this business about some of the antics this man did and how much of a draw he was. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Kern. Oh, dear Lord. Haystack Calhoun. We're getting into some of the best stuff. Look at, folks, Grizzly Smith. A Mid-South legend in his own right. We've been hanging and banging with Jake the Snake Roberts' niece, Samantha Starr. We've been hanging with Baby Doll this weekend, Samantha's daughter. We all know that Cowboy, Sam Houston, and Rockin' Robin is all in that family. Folks, that's the patriarch right there, Grizzly Smith. Oh, wow. Gorgeous George got his start wrestling on sandbars in the river systems of Houston, Texas, folks. Just a little river rat right there. Skyrocketing, folks. This place is just so filled with legends. Kevin Von Erich, folks. Sabu. Arn Anderson. Nasty Boy. I mean, I just can't stop. Shane Douglas, who was just inside giving everybody one of the most insightful business meetings. I mean, this wasn't even a seminar for wrestling. This was a seminar on how to better your life in a sense of business wealth. It blew my mind. Yeah, folks, we're in Shawsville, Virginia, and I just got multi-million-dollar information that I shouldn't even be pertinent to. Folks, Taz, Kevin Sullivan, today, just in front of the Valiant students, talked about how he grew up in Johnny Rod's gym where Taz went, folks. Oh, Kevin Sullivan, a wealth of knowledge, so giving. I mean, he's been so generous with all the Boogie students. Everybody he meets, he's been generous with. Oh, folks, Ivan Putski. Oh, man, there's a history there that goes back into Texas. His son wrestles also. It's outrageous. Just Sean, Daddy, Stan Stasiak, the originator of the Heart Punch, folks. Oh, I thought he killed people for reals when I was young. Folks, John Ular, everybody remembers as China. She started in the LPWA. She came up through a hard school. We all know who her trainer was. We all know who her boyfriend was. Beautiful woman inside and out. A waste to see her leave the planet so soon. Oh, this is just so crazy, folks. Raven, another mind that's just out of this world. He's part of the Order of Mensa, which is an organization filled with the most intelligent people in the world. And loves comic books. What a geek. We just ran into him at Wildcat Sports in New Orleans. Just a wonderful wealth of knowledge. Gypsy Joe. Oh, God, I can't even begin to explain Gypsy Joe above Wilbur Snyder. And it's perfect tribute to be put right next to Dr. Tom Pritchard. Gypsy Joe, one of the most traveled, seasoned veterans. I believe he started the Million Mile Club for airfare, for trains, for cars, horseback drawn carriages, quite possibly just any mode of transportation. I'm sure the man has put a hurting on it, going from show to show to show, all over the Mid-South, Southeast. Oh, it's just a legendary. Another one that passed away this year. Just another person taken from us way too soon. The wonderful referee Tommy Young, NWA referee. Folks, I'm serious. I can't even go enough detail to talk about what this man has done for the sport as well. One of the strongest referees around. Oh, so Red Bastion. Looking up here, we got Barry Windham tucked away in the corner. Oh, Billy Two Rivers. Ole Anderson, Larry Zabisco. We're coming down here to one of my favorites, folks. I'm New Orleans born and bred. I'm country bred and through. Big Cat Area lad, folks. That's one of Gramblin's top players. He was part of the Chargers back in the day. One of the reasons why I started liking West Coast football. But let me tell you, folks, when it comes down to nothing to it, that's the king of barbecue. The only other person that beats Big Cat Area lad's barbecue, that would be Butch Reed. And Butch Reed don't cook no more because his wife does all the cooking. Folks, Greg Valentine, a great mind, a great mentor. Big Papa Pump, who we just ran into yesterday with Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. Bob Orton Jr. was sitting with Mr. Paul Orndorff when he finally got Mr. Paul Orndorff to sign one of my figures that I had saved from Katrina. It's a 23-year-old figure of Paul Orndorff. Finally got the man to sign it for us. Ted DiBiase, a Memphis, Mississippi, Louisiana Mid-South mainstay. Oh, Lord, there wasn't a show in the Mid-South you didn't hit that didn't have Ted DiBiase on it. Oh, you're running into greats like Chris Jericho. Read every single book this man has wrote. I follow his podcast. I follow his band. When it comes to being more than just a wrestler, folks, a lot of these guys in this room, a lot of these talents, a lot of these people branch off into different other things. Kurt Angle, who became the Olympic hero, also is now a movie star. He also, Mick Foley, who's made movies and done TV, he's now an author. Folks, we've had governors. Wrestling is tied into every aspect in America. Ken Patera. When I was growing up, Ken Patera was the man. Ken Patera was an official Olympian also. But I was more of a Dewey Robinson missing link kind of fool. I missed the old top knot headbutt kind of stuff. And I know Ken Patera took a little bit from Dewey because Dewey had a classic body just like Ken Patera, and it was a natural body. Folks, we get all the way up into here. Chief Don Eagle, Gito Mongol. Oh, Lord, there's a name for Tennessee I can't even remember anymore. Oh, Ron Bass, folks. Gene Knitsky, Jake the Snake, who we touched on earlier. Oh, man. Hands of Steel, Ronnie Garvin, folks. Lord, we just ran into him at the Gulf Coast Wrestling Reunion down in Mobile. And let me tell you, folks, he's still as strong as ever. Hiro Matsuda, these names are just, it takes me back, folks. It's just a rush. The Big Show, the man lived on mayonnaise sandwiches, 6'7". Can you imagine the man living on mayonnaise sandwiches before he became a wrestler? That's what people go through today to get through to be in this business, folks. The sacrifices are so many. the great Mephisto. Everybody knows Dean K. Everybody remembers him. This was like the original Kevin Sullivan. Everybody that has come past Kevin Sullivan has also put themselves in the great Mephisto mode. Folks, born and raised in Louisiana, I've traveled everywhere. I've lived in Selma, Alabama for a year and a half. One of the best things that ever happened when I lived in Selma, Alabama was I met a young kid. That kid was into wrestling, local wrestling. I thought I was a wrestling fanatic. He was even crazier. His dad was a trucker. He took me to my very first Bullet Bob Armstrong show, folks. You know who the Armstrongs are. I don't even have to tell you how many are superstars. They all are. Brad passed away not too long ago. We have 2 in the employ of WWE right now. The Steve Jr. is training to be a wrestler, and he's also looking very good right now down in the Milton, Florida area. Hope to hear more from him. Hope to see more about him. But God bless the Barnum Armstrong family. They kept a little kid like me off the streets. I could have stole your shit. All right, folks. Tony Guerrero, Shawn Michaels. Folks don't even realize that Tony Guerrero back in the day was a WWE agent before they even had the agent name. Tony has been a smart part of the Titan Sports and Capital Sports for many, many years. A very quiet partner, but a smart one. Triple H, we just touched on Triple H not too long ago. I'm going to get down to it. Folks, Fabulous Moolah, nobody better. Honest Lord, we just came through Columbus, Georgia, where she has her camp. She had her camp. She passed away, unfortunately. But just the amount of stars that have come out of there, if I come across them in this room or any of the other rooms, I'll be sure to denote that Fabulous Moolah was her trainer. Oh, folks, Wild Bill Curry, I touched on this just a little bit earlier. When I was growing up, this man tore up the entire South. He has a son, Bill Curry, and another grandson, Rocket Curry, who was wrestling up until the 2007s. Folks, Lex Luger, the Great Muta, Brock Lesnar, man, just the names go on. Moose Cholak, if I don't touch on Bobby the Brain Heenan at least a couple times a night, the man was a manager of champions. The man was very good to the Valiant brothers when they were very young and coming up. Folks, as we look around, I see so many pictures, I'm so inundated, but what really touches me is that I took this photo of Jimmy and his son. So I'm like part of this. I've always felt like I was part of this. I always wanted to be here. I'm glad I am. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to yet another installment of the Boogie Woogie Camp Tour. This is our second building this evening. Come on in. This room here is covered entirely in independent wrestling and folks from the Boogie Woogie class of 2011 all the way through to 2016 because he ran out of room inside the first building. Oh, folks, I'm seeing so many talents here. Everybody's just been touched that comes through this camp. You know, I'm sure that Boogie spends a little bit of time with everybody. Everybody here is a part of such a tight-knit group. Any wrestler that we've met this weekend while we've been doing this big WrestleCade AML Supercard show, all top-notch professionals, all ambassadors in their own right to this great sport. But folks, let me tell you about it. These little folks here, the folks that take on these little towns, the folks that travel to these little burgs, to the hollers, oh man, I give it up to them, folks. These people are the entertainment for these people down here, and they're down home entertaining. It's not entertainment. Folks, get a chance to take a look at some of these folks. You'll just be surprised at who you see. I mean, if I really wanted to say something, I can always bring out April Hunter and J.D. Michaels, folks. That's some of your top tier talents right now that are out there on the circuit that have been traveling and making a name for themselves. Oh, the sweet Stan Lee. It's just crazy. Ricky Steamboat's over here. Folks, these individuals, they give so much for their families. These folks give so much to entertain the fans of all these wonderful little towns that within 300 miles of this region, there's wrestling Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and twice on Sundays. I mean, somebody's got to fill the bill, folks. Man, we got Evan Courageous down here on the bottom. I'm just like in awe. Once again, like I've said about the first room, it's just a who's who. You got Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Did we not just talk about Butch Reed? Oh, man. Like, everything I say comes to fruition in the next building. It's like I'm some kind of soothsayer. Folks, Jimmy Hart, we just got finished wheeling and dealing with Jimmy Hart over there in Lula, Mississippi. Big Ramp Kenneth Wade. Oh, Lord, from the Enterprise. Oh, whew. When Jimmy Hart saw Ramp suited, booted, had his sunglasses on, and had his horn, it was like Jimmy Hart reborn. Jimmy took him under the wing, took him over to the other side of the building. They sat and talked for a while, imparting that knowledge. Folks, sit underneath that learning tree when you get a chance. Oh, man, we're seeing all kinds of great young talent. I'm seeing Psycho Rick Kelly, Tommy Starstruck. And once again, another one of Barry Windham. Barry has done a lot of stuff down and around here. The Angel of Death, folks. Let me tell you something about the Angel of Death. Came out of World Class Championship Wrestling. Had Gary Hart as his manager, folks. This man terrorized people. Terrorized. He came into your home and terrorized you. Oh, when we come down into this area over here, look, folks, I know it gets a little bit dark in here because of the lighting situation, but just bear with us. Once again, Boogie McBride down there. There have been so many people that have been blessed to have been a part of the Valiant experience. Right to the right, Kamala. And that would be Kimchi. Oh, man, it just doesn't stop, folks. I mean, on this big door right here, this big wall. I mean, hell, you got Rock and Roll Express. You got the Midnight Express. Dennis Condrey, folks. My daddy loved Dennis Condrey. My daddy said Dennis Condrey was the working man's wrestler. He always told me throughout the days. We just ran into Johnny Swinger yesterday at WrestleCade. The man still looks great. And also looking down here, you see the Barbarian. A lot of guys have been doing work with the Barbarian now up there in Indiana. Also, come on now, George South Jr. The man just won last night's Legends Battle Royale at the WrestleCade show. He gave a fitting tribute afterwards. He thanked the fans. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. I can tear up now thinking about it because what that man gave to this business, who he's trained in this business, and where he's taken this business. You only go up, folks. You don't go back down. You may be down for a bit, but that's you personally, not the whole business. And that man reminded each and every person in that building last night why these guys and girls do what they do to help you and entertain you. All right, folks. I'm going to take that note. I'm going to say hello to Bobo Brazil because Lord knows Bobo's brother never fit the bill. And on the way out, taking a chance, come on down. You'll see Angel and most of the family. This is real family here, folks. On this side, right in here.
What's this? On the outside, there's all this Angel.
Yep, that's entirely family from the Boogie Camp.
Oh yeah,
this is everybody that's coming through. So, folks, I mean, there's not a spot in this place that's not covered. Boogie's done this all individually by himself, killing many of ours, obviously. Covering this place from stem to stern, from toe to top of the hair. Come on now, folks. We're going to go across next to our next building. This will be the third installment in our trip. Alrighty. Alrighty, folks. I mean, once again, you've come into another shrine. Independent wrestlers. Independent scene. You'll start seeing some folks from Mexico. You'll start seeing some folks from, I want to say Japan. You're going to start seeing folks that possibly was in Puerto Rico. Places like that because wrestling has such a huge hold on just the scene and all. Once again, you're coming down here, you're getting into the greats. You're getting into Ricky Dragon Steamboat. You're getting into Ric Flair, legendary Kaufman and the Memphis, Tennessee area with Jimmy Hart. You're getting into a lot of these young folks that, once again, have trained with Jimmy Valiant. on down across, class of 2004 right there. You know, Jimmy's been doing this for over 25 years. This is, it's really so overpowering to try to tell y'all how much we're really learning and seeing from 25 years worth of wrestling. I mean, as I look, I'm seeing Bull Nakano. I'm just like, wow, this is just so amazing. Of course, folks, the Woo Daddy, Woo Mercy book cover. I have reread that book personally 3 to 4 times. It only gets better every time you read it. The Jimmy Valiant story plays very much like an Adrian Street and Miss Linda story. Both men are well traveled. Both men are highly entertaining. Both men love their fans. And, you know, folks, this obviously, by the time we've got to this third building, it shows how much Boogie loves this business. It's not even about him. It's so much more than just him. Once again, Boogie Wrestling Camp, make your dreams come true. Folks, everybody here has a smile on their face. Everybody here has a hug to receive, and everybody here has a hand to shake. Ladies and gentlemen, legendary Boogie Woogie bumper stickers from across the board. Handsome Jimmy Man Wrestling in 5 consecutive decades. As Captain Joe just told us earlier while we were doing this walkthrough with him. We did a previous walkthrough once again, and you'll see this in our footage. So, you know, in case you've missed something that I've missed, somebody else has hopefully covered it. Oh, man. Look there. That is a young Gypsy Valiant with a young Bobby Heenan. Right next to a very hot Peggy Banner who once dated Elvis Presley. Oh, folks, I'm just like a motor mouth right now. I feel like I'm going and going and going. Dirty. Oh, man. Dick Murdoch, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a friend to Coors Light Company and fans across many, many states. If you had a sign in your neighborhood on the highway, most possibly, he done hit it with a beer bottle doing 80. Let's see. Coming across the road. Once again, Boogie Woogie with handsome. Hey, look at him. He's so handsome, and he's got his good friend Charlie Brown with him right next door, folks. Like I said, this just gets so amazing. If you look in the corner by the heater up there, I'm going to tell you, that's the Midnight Rider. I don't know who the Midnight Rider was, but all I got to say was, in the later years, he's in a bicycle. There's a bicycle in the arena. I don't know who bought a bicycle in, but there's a bicycle in the arena. Enough said. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, a young star, second generation. His sister is a current star right now. His brother, we just ran into him at the WrestleCade, looking only as good as he could, you know. So a lot of people were working their way through that WrestleCade. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, when it comes down to a second generation star, Reed Flair, folks, he passed away way too early. Just about ready to break into the NXT and WWE circle. Training down there, and he was supposed to be going, basically working with Richie Steamboat, which would have just been the Flair and Steamboat continuation, which in a previous video and interview that I talked about, I was asked who I would like to see in my own personal favorite match, and I've just constantly said it time and time again, it's always going to be Ric Flair and it's always going to be Steamboat. The two people have just been together so long, you can't beat the chemistry. So I think they were trying to continue some chemistry. Oh man, when we get down to the back of this one, oh Lord, we get back into even more stuff. Sorry for the darkness. Hope it's not too bad. Oh man, but there's just so much stuff to cover. Look, folks, just ran into Ivan Koloff. The man still got a handshake like a bear. Don't get close to him. He's dangerous like Mr. Wrestling 2. Man may be in a wheelchair, but don't let him get that pinky hold on him. Come on through, folks. And we got one little more stop off before we're going to hit. We got the third building done. Now this is the fourth building in the compound. We're going to stop right here for a moment and let you know that the boys from New York City, we've been singing it all morning long in our videos and our promos. We've had a blast the whole time coming up here. So let's finish that continuation of that thing. Do I
did it. Talked about the boy from New York City.
It's so fine. Oh yeah, we can sing that all day long. I'm thinking about making that my ringtone. So basically, we're coming into the production studio and maintenance area. This is once again. I mean, whew, you have to take a big breath. You come in right off the fact. Look who I see: Misty James and Bo James. You know, Bo James has written 2 books. I can listen to the man speak about Mid-South and Mid-East wrestling, Southeast wrestling, cornucopia of knowledge. Just, oh man, outrageous. Once again, you come in and you see Jimmy and Miss Angel, and then you see the whole gang right back up here with Captain Lou Albano back in the day with the Valiants. Johnny Valiant just had his birthday. God bless him. He's doing the thing with the comedy scene up there in New York City. So everything's being taken care of. I'm seeing so many little pictures of so many guys I know that I'm just like going into overload. You know, it's it's one of those things you just. Once again, we talk about Miss Moolah. You know, just to see who pops up. Got Boogie Woogie Man art, handmade art. Check out the Boogie Woogie Man handmade figures. If you don't get in there and get a hold of that, the out of town Charlie Brown, I need a close up of that. One of these days I'm going to prove that those two are the same person. Oh man, folks, I can't even begin to tell you just how much this is covered. I mean, it's just everywhere. Every little aspect, every little nook and cranny throughout this building has been covered and plastered with just stars, superstars. Dusty Rhodes. We just ran into Cody Rhodes. You know, we see so much here. Oh, folks, let me tell you something. Mr. Paul Jones. Paul Jones was one of those managers, folks. He was a hands-on manager. He took over a lot of the stuff in the Selma area, Atlantic area, Mid-Atlantic, North Carolina. And he had a stable that was just out of this world. Once again, look, we even got Tony Atlas hiding out up here. I'm like, man, superstar. When it comes down to it, this is so much. Once again, Tom Pritchard coming. And then we go into Bobby Fulton. We just ran into Bobby not too long ago. And we were in this room earlier once again. We touched on some stuff with the previous interview with Captain Joe. And we just wanted to come down here, touch again. We got Greetings from Boogie Land cartoon. If you go to jimmyvaliant.weebly.com, that's going to take you to some of the best continuous cartoons, original cartoons. Folks, when I was growing up, wrestling All-Stars cards, I mean, my cousins had them, they traded them, my uncles had them, they gave them away. I've probably got about a handful of 6 to 7 left my own self from the 60s. I cherish them. It's just, this weekend I saw some of these cards going for $40, $60, $80. And when I go to sell mine, I was being asked if I wanted 5. I was like, I thought I went to GameStop. Let's see, folks. We're going to continue this tour in just a little bit, but we're going to check out this last long line. The doorways, folks, inside the doorways are covered with stuff. You just can't imagine how this place is just strictly covered in so much stuff. I was lucky enough this afternoon, my own self, and I sat there and put down a series of interviews and promos just to see how everything was. Everybody here is so wonderful. Everybody here has just been such a help. We're going to go back into the main building, folks, and catch some of the wrestlers and give them some promo pics. And basically, just check out the rest of the building. After all this talking, I'm quite parched. And then I'll go this way so my cameraman doesn't kill himself. Because the intricacies, if you can see, if we get a panoramic view, once we get out here to the middle, I'll show you. The camp sits on the side of a hill, folks, in a beautiful valley. I mean, the the weather, the air. I mean, the whole quality is just, it's just so amazing out here. But you got to be part drunk billy goat to walk this stuff, and you can't be some flat-footed fat guy from the swamplands. My feet are good for sucking out mud. This too many angles. But follow me, folks. We have one last building to discover, and we're going to finally take care of this and do this right, folks. I got to go to the office. Do I did it. Talking about the boys from New York City. Hey, everybody, folks, let me tell you. Woo, Charlie Brown from out of town. We about to get down and get home down. Look, folks, let me tell you, it was a beautiful day here at the Boogie Woogie Wrestling Camp. We seen Shane Douglas, the franchise. We seen the mastermind, Kevin Sullivan, impart all their wisdom on these young students up here tonight. But, folks, let me tell you, my back hurt, my side hurt, my neck hurt. My front looks good, don't it, baby? Oh, yeah. Follow the Boogie Woogie Wrestling Camp. Follow Angels Wrestling Wear. Folks, follow me down this long line of vehicles. I need to take my pick to get myself back down to the bayou. Come on, folks. Is it going to be the motorcycle? Am I going to have to put the top down on the dune buggy? Oh, you know how we do it, folks. We're going to be riding, shucking, and jiving tonight, folks. We're going to be whining and dining. Folks, somebody call up the Moonshine Man. Somebody call up the Movie Man. I need that DVD, the latest release, underneath the interstate. You know where to pick them up at. Folks, we got the Boogie Woogie Man limousine. Charlie Brown from out of town don't be riding in nothing fancy like this, unless it got bars in the back window. Woo! Because you know, I met Boogie in jail. Folks, let me tell you, folks, right here. Woo! Shucking and jiving, wheeling and dealing, three-wheeling. Oh, folks, you know how it goes here at Boogie's Camp. It's going to be a beautiful ride back down through the mountainside. We're going back down to the bayou, the Big Easy. We're going to gamble. And Lord, look at this. This is how I ride in style, folks. Let me tell you something, folks. When you see the flames, you see the fire, Charlie Brown from out of town is about to get down and expire. Good night. Let me tell you, folks, it's been a great weekend here at the Boogie Woogie Camp. Me and Koby Rutland, CEO of Body Slam Media Production. We about to hit the road on back. Koby, tell these folks what you thought about tonight.
What an amazing time we had here at the Boogie's Pro Wrestling Camp. It was a legitimate dream come true. Thank you so much to the Valiants and everyone involved in this beautiful campus.
Woo! So you know what that means. Out of town, Charlie Brown. We got this quarter. We doing well wishes. We're going to miss this place very much. We got a little piece of us left here on the floor. Don't step on us too much, folks. And we got a little bit of piece of love hanging up in the well wishes. Misses and kisses.